What's up, everyone? Wesley's back with another video. I wanted to go over some things about this little bad boy right here, this Nikon Z8. I've shot 2 weddings with it so far, and a couple of days I've gone out for some astrophotography, for some landscape photography, and obviously I love street photography, so a little street photography as well. For those gamers in the group watching, check out my cool shirt, Red Ink Redemption. It's a crossover between Red Dead and Splatoon. Splatoon 3 is probably one of my favorite games of all times. So when I was at Comic-Con earlier this year, I had to pick this up along with a Star Wars shirt because I absolutely love Star Wars. Alright, side ran over. Let's talk about the Z8. 6 things I have here on my list. I have my notes right here in front of me. First thing I want to talk about is the obvious. It's size. Look at the difference between the Z6 II here. It's quite a bit larger, quite a bit thicker, grippier, and quite a bit heavier as a result. I'll put the weight somewhere up in here compared to this bad boy. So after a while, it does weigh on the wrist and the hands. The ergonomics are fantastic. A little mic I was covering up. The ergonomics are fantastic. They really are. It's really nice to be able to hold in the hand and be able to get to all the different buttons you need to get to with it. But it is quite large and as a result heavy over a period of time. Now, especially when you have a flash mount to it, which I have right here, my SB 5000, fantastic flash. It's smaller than some, but it does even make it that much more heavier. So this thing's heavy. That's point number 1. I just want you to take heed. If you're going to move into the Z8, it's a heavy camera, but it's worth every single gram extra it is over the Z6 II, I promise you, and then some. Number 2, the autofocus really is that good. Yes, it is that good. Coming from the Z6 II, which in my opinion has pretty good autofocus, quite a bit better than the Z5. Maybe not as good as the Z7. The autofocus on the Z8 is amazing. I can take photos in low light. I do often do the reception with this 24-to-120 f4 lens. I don't have any issue as long as I use that flash, grabbing autofocus and getting the exposure right. I don't have to pay for an expensive and heavy and long 2.8 lens to do that. The f4 lens, which is around $1,000. It's a great lens. I would highly recommend it. It covers a large focal range, constant f4 aperture, S glass quality. So it's just like your G Master for your Sonys and whatnot. All right, next step, and this will catch you. Be careful at the weddings or any place you're doing photography with a flash. Silent mode on this camera. It's amazing. Turns off all the chirps and fake shutter sounds because this thing does not have a shutter. It turns off the flash too, by the way, and it doesn't tell you anywhere in the camera, anywhere in the manual, anywhere online that I've searched. You will run into this. Just be careful. If you're using a flash, go into the settings and turn the shutter sound off because it's super annoying and you don't need it. But do not turn on silent shutter or silent mode. Silent mode will turn off your flash. All right, and I had this happen to me at a wedding, and had I not known the camera well enough and known the settings and been able to backtrack my steps, I would have been screwed. Oh, I didn't turn my cool light on. This is a little aperture light that I get for backlighting. I'm using green, my favorite color right now. Boom! Now I got some accent lighting. I'm working on this. I don't know, I'm new to video, guys. I'm working on it. Like my last video, I was super proud of that. It took me a minute to understand B-roll and filming and multiple layers and tracks and audio tracks and whatnot, but I'm getting there, so bear with me. But I know stuff, so it's, listen for that. 4th thing on here, third-party devices do not play well, and I said with the Speed 7 processor. The reason why I say that is because I had a ZF originally. I got it, and I was going to use it as my second body, and the Z8 was going to be my first body, but the ergonomics of the ZF are not good for, why am I saying I say too much, I know, I'm working on it. But ergonomics are not good for weddings and for hand holding for long periods of time, so I ended up sending it back. It wasn't due to that, actually. What I had was issues with the fit and finish of it. I got the green, the moss green model, and you could see the screw holes through it. It was very smooth, no texture, unlike the texture that's on these bad boys. You could see here it's got some stubble to it, it's got some grip. Didn't have that with the ZF. So I want the black one, and I'm going to get it once it's easier to find. But for now, I'm going to stick with these two models, and the ZF's going to be my street photography camera when I do get it. But third-party devices don't play well. My third-party batteries, my third-party flash, they had a hard time working with the ZF and the Z8. So I would just say stay away from third-party. I had to buy genuine Nikon batteries and genuine Nikon flash. Low key though, it was honestly the best thing I ever did, because this flash is better than any Godox flash you could ever buy. I know it's expensive, and I wish it had a rechargeable battery. Like, that's the one thing that, why did you put AA batteries? I know they're easier to find, but if I'm shooting a wedding, I want to have a couple batteries charged up and I'm ready to go. I don't want to be constantly changing out batteries and needing to make sure that I bring AA's and do I have enough. It's annoying. Come on, Nikon, get it together. But third-party devices, I would stay away from them if you're getting into the Z8. If you're going to go with the Z6, and the Z5, and the Z7, I believe, I haven't used the Z7, those should work with your third-party batteries and your Kodak flashes and whatnot. All right. The ergonomics, like I talked about already, number 5, top-notch. I had a Sony camera. That's the first camera I owned, was an A7R2. And the ergonomics on it were terrible. I mean, it was very small, and I have medium-sized hands. I don't have big hands here. That does not translate to what you guys think. I promise you that. Jokes aside, no, I didn't. I don't have humongous hands, and the Sony cameras were too small. And when you put an 85 or any kind of bigger lens on there, it would rub my fingers throughout the day. And that doesn't happen here. It doesn't matter how big they are. You have plenty of room right here. And you got these nice two function buttons, which I use for setting. I have one actually set for flicker reduction in case I go indoors and I need to quickly turn that on, and the other one, is set for my white balance. So anyhow, the ergonomics are top notch. They're fantastic. If you're coming from a Sony camera or coming from I wouldn't say Canon. I don't have a lot of experience with Canons. Canon's ergonomics are okay. They just feel like a plastic toy. They don't have, they don't feel like they have that build quality that the Nikons do. And the number 6, and probably one of my favorite features of the Z8, is the backlit buttons. I cannot tell you, at a reception, at any kind of place where there's low light astrophotography, night shooting, to be able to just flip the switch and turn the backlit buttons on and be able to see the buttons and control and make the setting changes you need to change and then turn it off. And especially in astrophotography, especially when you need it to be pitch black outside and you need your eyes not to get used to too much light, or you don't want a lot of light because you're doing a long limited exposure, or you got a friend shooting with you and you don't want to turn a light on. You can turn these backlit buttons on and see everything you need to see, make all your setting changes, turn it right back off. It doesn't light up so much that it's going to over brighten anything, but it does light up quite enough to be able to utilize in low light. I use it a lot of receptions. If I need to make quick changes, turn the backlight on, boom, ready to go. So those are my 6 main items that I've noticed so far with the Z8 over the course of 2 weddings and several outings to test different lenses and different combinations with it. It's a fantastic camera, probably my most favorite camera I've ever owned in my life. Well, I can't say that. The X Pro 3 was such a fantastic camera. It just isn't good for weddings. It doesn't have IBIS. It's small. The battery's small, but it's one of my favorite cameras I've ever owned. I gotta say that. I love my Fuji stuff. I can't wait for the new Fuji X100 V successor to come out next year, and I'm hoping they have an X Pro 4. I can't wait to buy those. But I am as much as I talk about not buying gear, not spending a lot of money on gear, these cameras will function probably way better than those will function. I still can't help myself. I don't know what to tell you. Can't help myself. So that's it for this video. I'm in Ireland, like I said earlier, and probably in a video before right now. So I'm filming these talking heads to kind of go over some things I wanted to get out and get over the air while my monitor comes on and off, super annoyingly, whatever. But I wanted to just, talk a little bit about my thoughts on the Z8. It's a great camera, probably the best camera I've ever owned. Not my favorite camera, but the best camera. And Nikon's glass, there's just something about it. It's just amazing. It's a great. You got to experience it for yourself. But they source their own sand to make their lenses. It's quite ridiculous. The Sony makes the sensors, but they spec the sensors. And the color science on Nikon cameras are amazing, and the Z8's no different. I'll put some sample photos somewhere in the mix here, so that you guys can see some of the sample photos I've taken with this combination, and we'll catch you on the next video. Alright guys, I'm out of here. Peace. I said bye.